Grüß euch! Ich habe jetzt einen englischsprachigen YouTube-Kanal geöffnet, wo es aber keine Computersprache gibt, sondern alles wird von einem echten Menschen übersetzt und gesprochen. Du kannst diesen Kanal und seine Videos jetzt gerne an deine englischsprachigen Freunde weiterleiten. Hier gleich jetzt mal das erste, die Übersetzung von Video 475, die Gefahren von Orgoniten.
Sundari, the real Orgonite. Now, what is the difference between an Orgonite and a Sundarite? Sundarites are real resin Orgonites. Let us start with the everyday Orgonites that are much advertised in esoteric circles and are allegedly cast out of artificial chemical epoxy resin. Firstly, the artificial resin out of which all these Orgonites are cast is not even resin. It is epoxy resin, or in short, epoxy, and that is 100% plastic. It is a chemical bond that consists of two components. As soon as they are mixed together, one can pour it into molds, where it hardens overnight, casting just about anything inside them. And that is what they call Orgonites, and have the audacity to claim it is according to Mr. Wilhelm Reich. But epoxy did not even exist at the time of Mr. Reich. It had not yet been invented. Therefore, these so-called Orgonites can't come from Mr. Wilhelm Reich. These things only emerged during the 90s, and someone just made them up. Secondly, epoxy resin is extremely poisonous, and this makes the Orgonites, as beautiful as they look, highly poisonous and dangerous. But take a look for yourself what epoxy resin really is. And if you then read the warnings about this epoxy, it gets really bad. Look at this. Causes skin irritation, can cause allergic skin reactions, causes severe eye irritation, toxic to aquatic organisms with long-term effects, avoid release into the environment. There you see the sign, environment and dead fish. Wear protective gloves, protective clothing, eye protection, face protection. This product and its container should be disposed of as hazardous waste. Ingredients include bisphenol A and F. That's BPA and BPF, if you know what that really means. And then tell me if you really believe that this plastic is something life-giving. Some say that one can measure energy on the plastic part. That may well be the case at the beginning, but this is the result of a chemical reaction of the plastic with the trapped metal parts, stones, and other stuff inside of it. The only thing that the plastic Orgonites have about them is that they look beautiful, but that's all. A poisonous cold beauty. Take a look at my playlist about pyramids. There I clearly show how pyramids work and what the dangerous thing about these resin pyramids is, and the praises about rays, healing stones and harmonization, conductive and non-conductive substances, purification of life energy. The balancing of chakras must not be missing, and positive vibration frequency, and all this from a plastic part. beautiful things cast and welded into plastic. Why doesn't anyone think along with that? This is not real resin. This is synthetic resin, only plastic, which is in reality epoxy resin. You can cast it. You can't cast natural resin. It's not transparent either. Real resin looks like honey. It is claimed that they would absorb the negative and give out the positive. It's all a lie. These resin pyramids pull your energy out of you and give you nothing in return, except for their own toxic plastic ingredients. It evaporates, and it is so highly toxic that they have to wear protective clothing, gloves, goggles, and masks while making their organites, that is, while mixing and pouring them. If epoxy really would draw negative energy out of the environment, what about all the other things that are made from epoxy? For example, garage floors or other flooring in the house made from epoxy. Any epoxy glue used in any joint, and any epoxy paint, as well as anything else made from epoxy, or similar plastics like plastic bags or polyester sweaters. Then what about them? They would all draw out and absorb the negativity too, wouldn't they? It's the same material. Briefly summarized once again. Orgonits are cast from synthetic resin. This is epoxy resin that is 100% plastic, and it is also highly toxic. This begs the question, how can something that is so toxic that you have to wear protective clothing when mixing the components and casting it have positive effects? Harmonious vibrations, exchange of negative energies, etc. That's nonsense. And you should also bear in mind that the orgonite sellers all use Mr. Reich's name. They claim Orgonit according to Mr. Reich, although this castable synthetic resin did not even exist in his time. But if you have now realized what a fraud these plastic orgonites are, then you must not simply throw them away. Epoxy resin must be disposed of as hazardous waste. That's why you know immediately that a cast orgonite is not real orgonite, but synthetic resin, that is epoxy plastic. And now for the real thing. Basically, a real orgonite must be made of natural tree resin. Real resin cannot be poured, and real resin is also very soft. But because the plastic bag faction has hijacked the word orgonite and claimed it for itself, one can no longer call a real orgonite an orgonite. That's why the original is now called a Sundarite. Sundarite, the real orgonite. Firstly, a Sundarite is a genuine resin orgonite, which means that it is made of 100% pure tree resin. Each Sundarite is made individually and personally by me, according to the original recipe of Wilhelm Reich, who always used pure tree resin in all his devices, that is, orgonites, cloud and rain machines, as well as his accumulators and chambers. I found this original recipe in one of his books in the 1970s. Secondly, the qualities of tree resin. As described earlier, tree resin is Mother Earth's healing sap for an injured tree. As soon as the bark of a tree is injured, the tree begins to get this healing sap out of the Mother Earth, which then rises to the wound, oozes out and closes it. This is why many wound ointments for humans contain resin components, because resin has the ability to convert cations, which are bad for us, into anions, which are good for us. The resin therefore exchanges harmful ions and molecules for healthy and beneficial ones. Resin is a well-known ion exchanger, and this is a real energy exchange where bad energy is replaced with good energy. And that is the very definition of natural healing. Every wound heals as soon as anions are present. At its core, every wound healing agent does nothing other than exchange positively charged ions for negatively charged ones, and this ultimately applies to every disease. Because it always has an accumulation of positively charged ions, and as soon as you get positively charged ions, you heal. And this applies both physically and mentally, because the good ions naturally also influence the mental state. Many people have already told me that the Sundari has the same effect. Now, it is forbidden to say anything about the healing effect of orgonites. Otherwise you will hear many reports about people, animals and plants who have experienced fundamental positive changes with a Sundari. It is the power and love of Mother Earth in the resin. The real Sundarites are only available from me because they have the blessing of the benevolent Mother in them. I make each Sundarite only after your order, especially for you, and after the production you get a blessing, and it is just for you. The blessing comes directly from the benevolent Mother, with whom, as you know, I have a very, very good relationship. There are some scammers who have copied my Sundarites and are selling them on eBay. But that can't be good because firstly, they cheated me, and secondly, because there's no blessing in it, just a cheat. Resin melts at 30 degrees, and that's exactly why you can't make pendants for necklaces. The glasses are designed to open upwards so that the flow of good ions can spread out nicely. I searched for a long time to find the best shape, and I found these two shapes to be the best, because the ion exchange works best this way. The medium Sundarit is in a cocktail glass. The small one is 9 centimeters high, and the long one is 18 centimeters. Then there is a third shape, which is 2.5 kilogram for those who really need power. Each Sundari is made especially for you after you place your order. You will also receive a blessing from the benevolent Mother. Here I have caught the moment of the blessing directly with the camera. The piece of paper is your name, and the blessing goes directly into the Sundari. Notice the blessing doesn't go through me. It comes directly from the Mother into the Sundari. And yes, this also works for others. You can also give the Sundari as a gift. You only need to write down the name of the person to be blessed, and you can give it to several people. The benevolent Mother knows us all. Each Sundari is made and specially blessed for you. There are several large and small mountain crystals inside the Sundarite, and a crystal tip also peeks out at the top, works like a pyramid. Not only does the base stand in the resin, allowing the anions to flow to you, and thus the healing power of the Mother Earth in the spiritual realm, but also that of the ingredients, that is, crystals, gold, silver, copper, and more. All this flows to you energetically via the crystal tip. But that's not all. The entire Sundarit is blessed. Blessed directly by the benevolent Mother. And the blessing does not go through Savannah, but comes directly from the Mother, which means that you are always connected to the blessing of the benevolent Mother. No matter where you are, the blessing flows to you, and so you have the real Orgonite from Wilhelm Reich, together with the power of the pyramid and the blessing from the benevolent Mother. All three powers in one. You activate your Sundarite by touching the mountain crystal tip with your finger. Your signature is then on the tip, and all the energies and blessings flow to you wherever you are. And yes, I think it is quite good if everyone has their own Sundarite. So in short, we have applied the benevolent blessing and pyramid law here. All the best, and I look forward to your orders. The link is in the description, but the offer is only valid as long as the resin lasts. Much love, your Savannah.